can't save your way out of poverty. If the bank is going to take your money invested in real estate, how come we not doing that? We got to focus on ownership. We have to own shit. I love investing in real estate. It's the one tangible asset class that has stood the test of time. Peace, family. Will Roundtree here, and we are on the Full-Time CEO podcast where we interview entrepreneurs, businessmen, businesswomen, and just people to the culture. And y'all already know, anytime I am on this camera for this podcast, you already know we bring in some legends. And today we got somebody who's very special, not only as an entrepreneur, someone who's in tech, someone who's done a lot of things. They probably helped some of your favorite entrepreneurs in this financial literacy space. And so without further ado, I want to introduce my good friend, my brother, Kabir. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm honored to be here. Will. Man, I appreciate you, bro. You a legend to me in this space, bro. You're somebody that I respect.
Thank you, man.
Somebody that I, trust in this space. You're somebody that I've always, admired, for what you've done for the culture.
Right.
And are doing for the culture still.
Correct.
And so you're an example for me. And so, yeah, man, I'm honored to be here, bro.
Man, bro, look, this is all about you today, though, okay? But I appreciate the admiration. But no, that does mean a lot because, and we talked a little bit off camera. Unfortunately, a lot of us black men, we don't get flowers from each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I loved what Drink Champs and Nori was doing. When they would bring legends on, they would give them a box of flowers because already as men, we're not used to that. Yeah. That's why even like my close friends, I'll text them and say, bro, I love you. Because we don't get that. Sometimes we don't even get that from our household. Absolutely. So, but we'll say that for the next episode or something like that. But today, man, I'm glad you came out. I've been watching you online, hearing stories about just your contribution in this space, in this financial literacy space, as people call it. But it's really bigger than that. Yeah. And today, I'm gonna actually talk about just even the journey of technology in this industry, because a lot of people may not know how far I go back. I actually, one of the very first, and I don't know if this is the first, so I don't want y'all beating me up in my comments. One of the first credit softwares I'm familiar with is a company by the name of HTDI Financial. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of history.
You told me a long time ago.
Yeah, so they started in 2004, and it was probably one of the very first softwares. Wow. And from there, they spawned a lot of what takes place in this industry. That's where Dispute Suites came out of. That's where, I'm not sure if you know Score, Joshua Carmona, good friend of mine out of Puerto Rico. So that's where Credit Repair Cloud, all of these guys started in our branches from HTDI. Wow. That's how long I've been in this space. And so to fast forward and see what you're doing now, man, is definitely monumental. So how did you get started, or, where'd you come up with the idea, or, how'd you even get into this space as a whole? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I started back in 2016.
Okay.
And funny enough, you were one of the first people that I actually learned from.
We talked about that. Yeah. I actually found the original DM.
You did?
Yeah, I found the original, man, full circle.
Yeah, brother, it's crazy to be here and be talking with you. Right. But I started, learning from you. Then there was another brother by the name of, man, it just slipped my mind. He had a book.
Corey P. Smith.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Started between you and him, I learned about credit because I initially thought credit repair organizations or credit reporting agencies were a part of the CIA or FBI.
A lot of people thought they were government agencies. Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah, back then in 2016, we weren't aware of this credit space. And I was one of those people who wasn't aware until I, came upon you and Corey P. Smith. And so I started there. I started learning how to fix my credit. I actually reached out to you to help me with my credit.
Right.
And I didn't pay that fee because I had, prior to you, I don't want to say scammed, but I got scammed from another guy prior to you. So I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to pay again. And so I ended up reading Corey P. Smith's book.
So it's probably good you didn't pay me. It motivated you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I started there, read that book, and then I became aware of how this industry actually works.
Correct.
And so I tried some of those things tactics that he used, and I actually got results for myself. And I started to fix my wife's credit, family's credit, and then I got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm tired of copying and pasting these dispute letters in Word for Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Right.
And for the viewers who don't know, I'm a software engineer. I got 14 years experience in writing software. And so I said, you know what? Let me create like a PDF generator that would do this for me.
Wow. And what year was this?
This was at this time, it's probably like 2017, late 2017.
Wow, okay.
And created this PDF generator. And that was cool for a while.
All right.
And so I looked into other software. I was like, do they have softwares out here that actually does this? And I ran into a few of them, CRC, Client Dispute Manager.
Right.
Ran into
Dispute
these software.
Fox. There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah. I ran into these, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this one. Used it, and at the time, you got to think, like back in 2017, these softwares weren't where they are today.
No, not at all.
And again, like you mentioned, that's great history right there.
Yeah.
They stem from that software from 2004.
2000. So could you imagine? Well, I don't even think iPhones were out back then.
I think they had just came out.
So technology was nowhere near.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about software. And I remember when you and I first spoke about your software, most of the softwares don't have everything you really need.
Right.
Is that one of the things that also motivated you? Because you always had to, when you're using some of the other ones, it was always that one missing thing that you needed. So you had to make, whether it's an API, something else into it, or whatever the case may be. Was that also, like I mentioned, a motivation for you?
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm the type of person where, I always try to add value.
Correct.
To wherever I'm at, I'm always trying to add value to it. And when it came to technology, I'm looking at technology and I'm looking at these other softwares and I'm like, okay, why is it designed that way? And I understand how code works.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, they could have did it this way. Why didn't they do this? And so I'm like, okay, I might as well start making my own software. If they're not going to fix it. And I gave them like 8 months. I'm like, wait, nobody's going to do this?
8 months?
Yeah, because it takes a lot to create software.
It does.
It takes a lot. And a lot of people think that when you create software, when you create it, you're done. No.
It's the maintenance.
You spend 80% of your money
all of that,
maintaining the software.
But then even the trial and error.
Yes.
Because in tech, everything is going to eventually go wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so let's stop there for a second. That's why I think so many people fail in entrepreneurship. They have to look at something. Everything is going to go wrong in your business eventually.
Wow.
And do you have the wherewithal, the patience, the money? Can you stomach the obstacle or the pain that is going to come with that?
Right.
So like you mentioned, it took them how long? 7-8 months?
I gave them 7-8 months to see if they were going to make changes or updates to
But that was
things.
a process you had to endure, though, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Now, could you imagine someone claiming they want to be a millionaire in business and something comes up and after 3 days they're quitting? That's their waiting period. And you talked about you gave them 7-8 months. Most people don't have that level of grace even with themselves.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
With themselves.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for you to say, all right, I'll still work with them. Like, how did you get to that point to even? And I'm framing this because I want the viewers to understand Murphy's Law is real. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It will go wrong.
Absolutely.
So mentally, where were you to even be able to give that level of grace? Because I'm sure you had already paid them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And at the time, some of these softwares are more expensive then than what they were now because they were newer then than they are now. And, you know, I think for me, I saw opportunity. I think for me, I saw like, okay, I flipped the script in my head. It wasn't so much so that I was necessarily giving them grace. It was more so like, okay, I'm trying to see like if you're going to do it or not. And if you're not going to do it, and the level of respect that I have for you, because creating software is very difficult and maintaining software is very difficult. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not about to do all that. I don't want that responsibility.
Right.
But when I realized that no one was taking the responsibility, I saw opportunity. And so that's when I made it up in my mind, like, you know what? I'm going to create a CRM. And then anybody who is a software engineer prior to ChatGPT, and we gonna talk about that too, as far as ChatGPT creating an application for you.
Right.
An individual creating an entire CRM is preposterous. It's foolish. Nobody would think like, oh, you can do this, because you would need what I actually did. You technically needed about 8 developers minimum to do what I did to build Creditfixrr. Wow.
And when we know what the investment for 8 developers would be, people don't even want to pay the monthly fee to pay for credit monitoring, let alone have 8 developers.
I'll tell you, when I graduated college from Morehouse, I worked for Boeing.
Okay.
They paid me $100,000 out the gate as a software engineer.
So when y'all hitting Kabir saying, hey, can you help me build an app? Just know yesterday's price.
Today's price. You feel me?
Price.
Nah, for real. Like, seriously.
Let's back up a little bit. You said something that was important about how you saw opportunity through the ebb and flow of that journey. Yeah. I often tell people this is why you want to fail fast, because the failure teaches you how to spot opportunity. Because think about it like this. If it had went smoothly, you may not be where you are today.
Man, yeah. 1,000%.
Because you didn't find the gaping hole to fix, to create the opportunity.
Yes.
To have Creditfixrr. So I often tell people, you know, one of my first failed ventures, I invested in a tax franchise. And if it had went right, I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
Because there's very few people, this might be a bit controversy, but I'm gonna say it anyway. There's very few people in the tax space who eating. When you look at all of the different people who do taxes, most people only have 25, maybe 50 clients. Tax season is 10 weeks long. And so I had a building, I had a 3,000 square foot, I would have had to had made enough money to cover 12-month worth of expense. My rent at the time was $4,000. So that means before Will Roundtree saw $1, I had to cover at least a $65,000 rent payment for the year. My first year, I didn't even come close to that with the number of clients I had, because I was still trying to learn about marketing. This was in 2013. And so if that had not have happened, I wouldn't be here, because I still would have been trying to fix that. And so that's why I tell people sometimes you have to be willing to go through those gauntlets, because that's where you spot opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, man, this is why you're so valuable, to be able to even describe that to people to understand. You know, a lot of people think that business just goes smoothly.
Man,
it never goes smoothly. And if you expect it to go smoothly, trust me, you don't want to be an entrepreneur
at all.
You don't want to own your own business. You don't want to be a boss. You don't want to be a boss.
Nothing.
Because you're going to face problems every day. And when you're an entrepreneur, your job is to solve problems.
That's it, man.
And this is how I became a entrepreneur, is I was naturally, you know what I mean? Because as a software engineer, that's all you're doing is solving problems. You fixing bugs, you doing this, and so you get trained to look for problems and solve them. You try to find problems And that's the beauty that, I'm grateful that I, learned how to be a software engineer.
Right.
I learned, and when I say I learned how to be a software engineer, I went to college for it, but what I learned, I got good by outside of college after I graduated from experience.
Right.
To your point,
Right.
You learn from the creases. You find creases in whatever you're doing, right? And that's where the gold is.
Right.
It's in the pockets. It's where it's that's where the opportunity is, if that makes sense.
No, I 1,000% agree, because it reminds me of a time where I can remember one of my cousins, he used to play football in high school. Mm-hmm. He had broke a bone in his leg. Mm-hmm. And I remember following up with him probably, several months later, and the doctor said his bone got stronger.
Wow.
And I remember I sat back thinking about that. I was like, so you mean to tell me sometimes we have to break to be stronger? But nobody wants to go out there and deal with the pain of being shattered. Yeah. So whether it's learning how to deal with people, because I always tell people that even when you look at relationships, business, marriage, whatever the case may be, whenever you go through something, it's not always a reflection of how bad you or the other person is. A lot of the times it's supposed to show you what you should probably work on, and not even from a bad standpoint. And so the hardest part about entrepreneurship is everybody comes in thinking that they know everything.
Yeah.
Even though they don't.
Yeah.
They think they know they think they know what pain is.
Right.
They think they know what loss is.
Yep.
They think they know what money is. They think they know what being an entrepreneur. Most people don't, man.
They think they know what their threshold is too.
They don't, because you will get pushed, tested. You might lose everything, everyone, in some.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to endure that. And people, a lot of people can't, man.
You got to be okay with it. And that, to your point, you bring something to mind. We were talking earlier before we started about how I lost 700 active users in a span of 2 months.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the way that happened was because I had a newer developer that I brought onto my team.
Right.
And it was really on me because I gave him a task to do. And by me giving him that responsibility, it slowed down the software so much so that people quit the software. And we didn't pick up on it until it was too late.
Right.
And so when you have users and they're expecting something to work like fast, like it used to work,
right?
Then in this industry, people are very finicky.
Oh, you got 3 seconds.
You got one time, right? And so, but it was really on me. But what I could have did was I could have just fired him. But I saw it as an opportunity for growth. Even though I lost a lot of revenue, I knew long term, like, this is a learning moment. This is a teaching moment. But on me, this is how I can become a better leader. Right. Because it can't just be about money. And this is another thing we're talking about. Too. It can't just be about money for you, right? And this is where it has to be about the mission. And like for me, like when you got developers and you see skill and you see talent, you want to grow that. You want to help and you want to create a culture because, you know, and that's what I saw in him. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to, even though I'm losing all this money, it's a teaching moment for him. And really, like, I realized that I can help you grow in this area. And today, he's an excellent developer.
So he's still with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's pause there for a minute because this brings up a point. Did you know that nobody taught us how to learn?
No.
Okay, so when we are growing up as kids and we're in school, once you get to whatever grade, they start teaching you how to add. The teacher is going to assume you know what to do from what it is that they're teaching you at this grade. So when we're working with people that we hire, if you come to me and say, "Hey, Will, I can, edit videos," I'm going to assume that you really know what it is that you're doing at my level of how I want it done, even though I've never trained you.
Right.
And so nobody teaches us how to learn. We're just taught what to do.
What to do. Yeah.
And that is something why I think a lot of times we don't get the results. And then as humans, because it's about the money, we don't have the patience to pour back into, because you're going to still deal with it. And that's why so many people, like I've worked with a lot of people and and I've had people within my org be like, man, why you still work with this person? I'm like, because I'm going to deal with this with the next person I bring on anyway. I'd rather... Because now me and this individual, we have a buy-in to each other. Right. They've bought into the vision and into the culture. So I would rather teach them to work at the level of standards of what I need, because the next person, they may be doing good for so-and-so, but they don't know my standard. Your culture. And that's very difficult to be able to translate when people don't understand it at that level.
Absolutely. And to add to that, like, we don't know how to build culture.
We don't.
And that's so essential to business.
Well, do you know why?
I don't know why. I'm still
I'll
learning.
give you some insight. Because the only culture we know is street culture. We operate a lot of let me speak to a lot of entrepreneurs run their business like drug dealing. That's why they don't get off the block. Or and when I say off the block, meaning they don't get to that next level. Let's say you're my mentor and I invest $10,000. I'm expected to make $1 million. Not knowing in business, if I put up $10,000, if I make an additional $500, I'm up. So we don't know how to build culture because we only know street culture.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why the personal development is important. And that's one of the things I admire about you. And it exudes to your videos. I could tell that you're about building culture. You brought your team. So that's why it's very difficult, man.
Yeah, man. I'm learning now that partnership is something that you have to also learn as well, man. You have to learn how to grow in business. You have to learn how to create partnerships. You have to learn how to create relationships at the root of it. That's what it 100%. Really is, you know. And you know, that's why I appreciate the relationship that I have with you, man. I know you're a busy person, and we were talking about this offline. Like, you know, I'm able to reach out to you. I don't blow you up or anything like that, but I'm able to call you
100%.
Because you're one of these type of people in this space. And a lot of people know this about you, but for the people who don't know, like, man, you're somebody that just not focused on money. You're focused on character, integrity, you know, and you'll not do certain things, even though it's a big bag, at the expense of integrity.
Oh, man, look. We can touch on some of them.
Yeah, I think we should, man. I think we should.
CPNs. Talk to me about.
Man, you know how many people have come to me asking me for CPNs? Bro. Can I do CPNs? Hey, man, I got these CPNs. Can I sell them in your software? No, sir. Can't do it. I can't do it.
First of all, let the people know what is that, because people they hear that on TikTok, Insta. So what is a CPN?
In short, a CPN is someone's social security number. A lot of times they take someone's who has maybe passed away, or like a child's birth who's young, they'll take their social security number and they'll take that identity and you leverage that to use as your identity. And, you know, to be honest with you, I'm not as versed as, you know, most people are, because I try to stay away from CPNs.
Yeah, 100%.
So I can't go into too much detail about CPNs. But, you know, for the most part, man, that's what it is. I know people who's gotten apartments with CPNs. I know people who went to jail for CPNs. Know people who have went to court for CPNs.
On their way to jail.
On their way to jail. You know, and so I steer far away from CPNs, and you know, I think that we have to get away from just doing things just for money. We gotta get out of that mindset, because there's more money you can make doing it the right way.
Look, but that's hard for people who are trying to get out of survival.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I've been there.
We've all been there, and that's the thing. Like, when I talk to so many people, they're like, man, I bought this from somebody and I got scammed.
Yep.
And I try to correct people from always saying that term. And I say, no, were you scammed or were you sold a dream based upon your level of desperation? So no, you was willing to take a chance.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And you felt it. A lot of times when we doing certain things, we feel.
Know, yeah.
We know what we doing.
Yeah.
We know we
you know
signing
you ain't paid
up
them
for
people. You know that's not your picture on that ID.
Right.
You can't even open a bank account with this. you know you doing wrong, okay? Let's talk about another one.
Okay.
Credit sweeps.
Oh man. I literally had somebody message me today. I literally could pull it up.
What is that? Because a lot of people may not know what, because there's so many
Got you.
terminology. It's a lot of terminology around that term.
So there's multiple ways that people, quote unquote, do credit sweeps. Sometimes people say that they got somebody on the inside that they can call up and they'll charge you what, $5,000 to $7,500.
I told them to FaceTime that person. I want to meet
right.
him.
Thanks. Right. They got an inside person, but really what's going on? Like there's a couple methods. There's one new, fairly quote unquote new, where people are claiming that you've been kidnapped. What's the term again?
Like sex traffic.
Sex
kidnap,
traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one right now that recently came out about like 8-9 months ago, where people are using that as a reason to get items removed from your credit report. And so one thing I will say about doing these credit sweeps, like they'll come off. But what they don't tell you, after you spend $3,000 to $5,000 to do these credit sweeps, sometimes $20,000, is that a couple months afterwards, once they do that investigation, it's popping back up, and then they're gonna close your little Chase card, your little Amexes. They're gonna close all that, and now you left still with the charge off because they're gonna charge the debt off, and it's still on your credit report. So you just paid $5,000 to $20,000 to get into debt that you have to wait 7 years to get off. And now you're trying to, oh man, I can't. Now you can't do another credit sweep. And then another point that I also learned is that when you claim identity theft and fraud, right, on your credit report, you can't sue if it wasn't actual fraud. So now you trying to go sue debt collectors and stuff now, but you can't, because when you show up in court,
that was a hustle too in this game.
Yeah,
Suing creditors.
Yeah.
Here's something that's interesting, Kabir. None of this stuff is new.
Wow.
People was doing this in 2005.
Really?
None of this stuff is new, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Let me tell y'all something. There is nothing new under the sun. In anything.
Yeah.
Even in business, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Somebody just has recalibrated it to be more efficient. And so credit sweeps, none of this stuff is new.
The only thing new is people
That's
coming
it.
into the information.
That's
you think
it.
that is new.
That's it.
Yeah.
Credit software isn't even new. And so, and I say that to say, ladies and gentlemen, there is no special trick. There's no, it's like,
Talk to him, man.
It's, but that's why, like when I first got in this industry, telling someone you were in a credit space was like, you do that? Now it's like a badge of honor to say, man, everybody does credit now.
Everybody.
Credit
and funding. Credit and funding. I know you about to go.
I'll say that one for my one-man podcast. I'll have my own one man. But no, it is.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, those aren't real businesses. Those are really hustles. Because you're not even running it like a business.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to hear that. And that's probably why I don't get invited to a lot of places, because if I heard Robert Greene say this recently in an interview with Cody Sanchez, and I'm paraphrasing. If people really knew what their reality was, they would operate differently.
Explain that.
People stuck in a reality that is not even reality. For example, so one of my guilty pleasures is the Pop the Balloon show. I think it's one of the funniest shows on the internet.
Yeah, okay.
Because I always fantasize, if I was ever a person going on there and I'm picking a lineup of somebody, the only question I would want to know, who's your favorite artist?
Wow.
Because that's going to tell me who you are.
Tell you a lot.
That's so to your point, that's the reality of how people calculate their reality. The music they listen to, the TV shows, the activities they participate in. And so if you ever notice, whenever a new popular term comes out on social media, when somebody starts utilizing that dialect, that lets me know their reality is social media. Wow. How are you picking up dialogue from how people talk in Utah? You live in Georgia. That's the reality of how people live. Oh, let me see how Kabir moves. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm adopt.
Yeah, we got a lot of that happens.
And so people don't even know the reality that they're in because they haven't spent time reflecting, figuring out who they are as a person. Wow. So that's why they're chasing the fad of everything. This is why you can look at somebody's social media today, and then in 3 weeks, now they're hustling this. Another 3 weeks. Now they're hustling that. Now they've done everything under the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people who started credit repair. They do funding now. Now they're doing taxes. Now they're doing, Toro. Now they're doing, something else. Like it's like learn how to actually learn yourself, right?
Learn yourself.
Learn yourself. And then learn how to do business. There's going to be ups and downs. I had a mentor tell me, he said, man, you got to learn your summer, spring, winter, and fall in your business. Because it ain't going to always be warm.
Ever.
It ain't going to always be cool. It's going to be cold sometimes. And so you got to take these things into account. And that goes back into, what you were talking about, going through the gauntlet. And you want to hope that you go through it earlier in business.
Yeah.
And not just be coasting the whole time. And it's like, damn, I ain't never had no problems. I made $30 million and I'm just good. And then something happens and it's like, oh, I lost $30 million. It's like, okay, you never had no issues, ups and downs to get to that $30 million. So you probably never get back to it.
Well, we see that now with the pandemic money.
Pandemicpreneurs.
You know what I'm saying? And so I often tell people that anybody can make money. Mm-hmm. But what helps people to be able to have the same season that they had in spring to translate to winter is knowing how to deal with people. That's really that's the sauce.
Wow.
You have to know how to deal with people.
Yeah.
And I see why so many entrepreneurs or content creators don't make it, because as soon as they have an issue with people, they're crashing out on the people.
Yeah. And even their people.
It's like, no, you have to know how to deal with that. Because if I have if I pay you and I have a problem with your software, that's me telling you something that I want fixed, but I don't know how to communicate that to you.
That's not a problem. That's an opportunity.
That's an opportunity.
And this is what I'm talking about. I've had so many people reach out to me pissed off about Creditfixrr, especially early on.
Right.
Oh, man, this ain't working. Why isn't this working? I get on a call with them 5 minutes later. Oh, it was that. Man, I love this software. Man, this is amazing.
They don't know how to articulate it to you.
You're right. They expect things to just work just like that, in which it should. But again, in business, obviously they don't have business, right? A lot of people who are customers aren't business owners, right? And so they don't understand that in any business, there's problems. You just don't see them because you've never done business.
I'm going to give you another viewpoint. Going back to when you talked about culture, we only know street culture. Man, so if I use Creditfixrr and it doesn't work to the liking of how I think it should, I'm going to resort to the only thing I know. Yeah. Violence. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to come with aggression because that's what being a man, that's what being tough, that's what being from the hood is about, as opposed to saying, hey, Kabir, I'm having an issue. How do we resolve this?
Right. Yep.
We haven't been taught that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You so right. And it's crazy because they say, like I've heard in business, they say, man, if you want to make a lot of money, don't sell to people. Don't sell. I'm paraphrasing, but sell to people who make more money. You have less problems.
1,000%.
You know, and I've always been like this. I've always been this person because I could make a ton of money, right? Just selling Creditfixrr business, offering that and using just that B2B model. Right. But for some reason, and you know, my team always tell me, they tell me about this, like, bro, like, leave B2C alone. But I just see opportunity there to solve that problem. Nobody wants to solve that problem because it's a very difficult problem to solve, because you're dealing with people who expect things to happen right away. They're in an industry where they've been taught about credit sweeps. They've been taught about CPNs. So they have this mindset where, how long is it going to take?
That's the number one question I'm sure you get.
I get that so much. And, you know, I often tell them, like, listen, man, I'm not one of these people that's going to promise you that it's going to get removed from your credit report in 3 days or a week. No, but I will promise you that if you follow the dispute flows and you follow the directions in the software, you will get results. Now, the degree of results, I'll be lying if I say you're going to get everything off your credit report. But I can promise you this, that 90% of people get at least one major item removed from their credit report.
Right. Let's touch on that. Expectations of credit repair.
Yeah.
I often tell people, somebody hit me the other day, hey, Will, before I tell you the story and then get your viewpoint, when somebody is calling you for advice, they already know what they want to do. They're looking for you to co-sign the ridiculousness of what it is they want to do. So somebody hit me up and said, Will, I got all of this debt. I'm going to just let it default and then I'll pay you to come fix it. I said, no, I don't want your money. Yeah. Because now your expectation is for me to get you out of credit jail or debt jail. So from an expectation standpoint, what is the proper expectation one should have? And not that there's like a standard or a code of expectation, but somebody comes to you, they have a repo, they got charge-offs with Navy, Federal, Amex. A lot of these major banks have non-arbitrary laws where they don't even have to put it into dispute, because most people didn't read the little fine print when they went out and did the little credit hacks. But anyways, that's a whole nother video. But what is an expectation? Because people assume, oh, I paid you, Kabir, everything's supposed to come off.
Yeah, so the expectation that I think people should have is that your credit profile is, number one, your credit profile is different from everyone else's credit profile. Now, it may be similar. You might have done similar things that other people have. Similar debt with similar companies. Right. And so, like, to your point, like, they have non-arbitration agreements.
Explain that a little in brief.
Okay, so arbitration.
Or just in a layman's.
Yeah, so basically, like, whenever a creditor, in this sense, does something wrong to the consumer, then you can settle out of court with them, right? You can agree to, agree to do certain things like, hey, I'll pay you this, and you can just remove it. Now, with them, they know that they can do that. They'll say there's no arbitration, right? Like, you either just gonna have to sue me, and you're gonna that's what you're gonna have to do. Sorry.
And you don't have deeper pockets than Navy Federal.
Exactly. A lot of times you don't have deeper pockets. And a lot of times when they have non-arbitration agreements, that means that they know that the collection company that they sending you to, they own that. So you just be going back and forth. They just give it back to the original creditor, right? Or they own the debt, right? Still. So there's hoops that they can put you through. And, since you mentioned Navy Federal, that's one of the ones that's very difficult to deal with.
That's why I brought this up.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose.
And one more thing I'll say about this is that, to that point about, like, your credit profile is different from everybody's, you want to also understand that just because you dispute with one creditor one way, it's going to work with another creditor. And there's different state laws.
Talk about that.
Hey, California has some of the best state laws for consumers, actually.
And then North Carolina has some of the worst.
Some of the worst. Georgia has some of the worst, right? So a lot of these things, when you talk about expectations, you should expect to learn more about credit in the industry. That's what you should expect. That's what you're actually paying for, because credit is not going anywhere. And this is why I don't like when people just go do credit sweeps, because then you just got your credit clean. Now, when this happens again, and a lot of times when people get credit sweeps, they go get funding and they get right back into debt. And then you right back here. But so you paid money, you're in debt, and you still don't know what to do. Now you got to pay more money. And so the expectation that I think people should have is, number one, understand that your credit profile is different. And number two, you should be trying to learn about credit and how to leverage it properly. And I think that is the best way to look at it. And then as you're learning, you start figuring out like, okay, there's different tactics that you can use. And a lot of times you're actually in a good position to actually get things removed the right way, whether that's paying for deletion. People sleep on that.
They sleep on that. Man, I was teaching that in 2016.
Bro, you used to teach that a lot.
Every day. I hammered that.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that.
And I could save you tons of money. You know, truth be told, I had a debt that I paid for delete. And I paid a fraction on the dollar. Because the collection company that bought the debt, you know, they were saying like, hey, you owe $5,000 on this debt. I was like, you know what? And I was buying a house. I'm buying a house at the time. So this is actually recent, right? And not to put my business out there, but, you know, it dropped my credit score like 100 points. So I'm like, I'm in the middle of buying a home. And I'm like, you know what?
All right.
This is what I'm saying. Your situation is different. Your profile is different. So why not pay this $700 so I can get this home?
But if you didn't know what to do, imagine now you out spinning your wheels and paying 5 people and potentially lost the house.
Yeah.
But because you knew what to do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so even to that point about the pay for deletion, a lot of people don't know my story. I actually used to work at a collection agency.
Word.
That was one of the many jobs I had when I was figuring out my life in Las Vegas. And so we worked on commission, you know, and at the end of the month, we trying to close.
Get that money, right.
Call me and say you want to pay a fraction for this T-Mobile. Yes. Yes. Right. And I'll remove it.
Right. And that's another thing. Whenever you're paying for deletion, get it in writing. Because a lot of these collection companies, again, like I remember a guy who owned a collection company. He would hire people off of, what's this site? It's like a, classified ad site. Where people, you can just find anybody. And so,
they didn't care. Bro, we use fake names. Wow. No, on everything. My name was Mike Quick. So if you got a call from Mike Quick in 2008, that was me.
Yo. Oh, Mike Lowry was collecting debt out here.
Yeah, so they don't even give you their real name, but they put that in place because when they found out where the collection agency was headquartered, they would find the person who was trying to collect debt, and then they would try to assault them. Yeah, because people get very emotional around credit and debt. Mm-hmm. So imagine Mike Quick calls you asking, saying, "Yo, Kabir, you owe us $5,000," and then I look up, "Oh, you live here." So that's why they gave us fake names.
Makes sense. Yeah. You got to move around like that when you're collecting this debt,
bro. They think it's bad now in this financial literacy streets.
It's predatory, man.
It's predatory.
And to that point, that's why I always wanted to be a light in this space. That's why I never accepted these offers where like, man, I can get items removed in 3 days, man, partner with me. I know you got a lot of people coming through your software. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Credit sweeps, you know, I'm very, very, you know, mindful of these things because my goal, again, like I'm doing this B2C thing as well. You know, and my goal is really to empower people, man. Right. Like, I know it sounds, you know, cliche, but I think that I truly believe in people. I've always been like that. Even when I was playing sports, whether it was baseball, basketball, you know, I was a point guard. Like, I value people, and whether you were good at something or not, I figured out what you were good at, and I would know, like, okay, if he's in that corner, I know he can shoot this 3 and he'll make it. If I see him warm, I'm just gonna tell him like, hey, disregard the point, disregard the coach, do what I say do. When I tell you to go to the corner, just go to the corner.
Right.
Because I know you're going to hit this bucket. Right. And so I always try to find value in people. And I think that there's tremendous value in us. And it only takes people to see that in you, and you'll be surprised what comes out of people when you give them an opportunity and you give them a fair shake and you say, hey, allow them to grow, and that's what I wanted to give to the credit repair industry is something that they can truly, trust and believe in. And I'm gonna continue to, build on that.
No, that's powerful, man. So let's touch on that. Let's talk about, the software. So who's your ideal client? How can they find you? Like, what's that process look like?
Yeah. So my ideal client is male, female.
Okay.
Between the ages of 28 to 45. It's the mom, the single mother with, children. It's the everyday worker who works a 9 to 5. It's the entrepreneurs who striving, to get business credit because as you gonna get PG'd until you grow that business, right? So these are to be honest with you, it's all of us.
It's really everybody.
I was waiting for you to say that. It's really all of us, because credit runs this economy here, this country, and most of the, Western world. And so, that's my avatar, if you want to say. Correct. But I forget the second part of the question.
The second part is like, what's the steps? Like, how can I find you? What do I need to have to get started? Do I walk someone through that onboarding process once they find? Well, first, how can they find you? And then the onboarding process as you're speaking to your avatar.
Yeah. So you're gonna go to www.creditfixrr.com, and that's credit FIXRR. There's no E in it. So creditfixrr.com. Currently, it's a web application, right? And so you're going to log in, create your profile. I give you a 7-day free trial on the DIY side. You go in there, input your personal information, upload your personal documentation that's required when you're disputing to allow the credit reporting agencies to figure out and confirm that you are who you say you are, right? So that they can do a proper investigation. If they do a proper investigation, right? And that's another story. But once you do that, our software automatically analyzes your credit report. It's going to import your entire credit report from all 3 credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, right? Not only that, it's going to analyze your credit report, and it's going to provide you insights, both positive and negative, about your credit score, and then it's going to give you recommendations about your credit report, both positive and negative, insights and recommendations, right? And then the main part, obviously, people want to do is remove negative items from their credit report. Correct. Right? And so once you do that, the software is automatically going to identify the negative items on your credit report, whether it's inquiries that are 2 years beyond. It's going to identify all inquiries, all negative items, late payments, public records. So it's going to identify these accounts. You can select them, which ones you want to dispute, right? Our system provides you. So if you don't know anything about credit repair, our system is going to provide you suggested reasons and instructions for each round that you dispute, right? And if you're more knowledgeable, and our goal is to continue to educate people about credit so that you can become more and more savvy. But our dispute flows will provide you insights, recommendations using consumer laws to remove these items from your credit report. And every round it does that. It suggests the next dispute round based off of that account. And once you do that, you can mail it from the software. Once you generate your dispute letters in the software, you can mail them from the software for first class or certified mail. Or you can download the dispute letters and take them to your local post office and mail them out. So
I want to go back to something.
Okay.
Because, you broke down the onboarding process and it was simple. Mm-hmm. You offer 7-day free trial. Yeah. People not even losing.
Nah. Yeah.
I don't know. That might go over people's head.
Yeah.
There's very few places you can test drive the software, the service, because you eat that cost up front.
Oh yeah.
And I want people to understand that that's how you know someone who is a servant first. Because the way you lead is to be a servant.
Definitely.
Most people try to lead with fear or dictatorship.
Yeah.
And that's why you're in a position that you're in, because you're a servant first.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So y'all go to Creditfixrr. I don't know what else that you would have to tell them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the 7-day free trial is powerful. The onboarding process, the reasons of them disputing, but I'll tell you why I know your software is powerful, because you also have training in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of softwares out there that does not offer that process. Yeah. So talk about the training portion that is inside the software, because you want them to get educated.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna say this probably a little prematurely, and it may sound a little arrogant, but I think I know where your mind is at. Although you wouldn't mind them coming back, you don't want them to be a forever customer. No. You want them to know what to do the next time. So just touch on a little bit about the software with the education inside.
Yeah, so I actually built out obviously I'm a software engineer. I built out a Creditfixrr Academy. And I'm gonna talk a bit about this because we're actually moving it for a little bit, right? And that's for business purposes. But Creditfixrr Academy, where it teaches you everything credit. The idea for Creditfixrr Academy is not just about credit, because believe it or not, Creditfixrr is not just a credit repair software.
Yeah.
It's actually a platform that I intend on
the Netflix of the industry. We talked about this offline.
I have such a huge vision for Creditfixrr, man. And because I bootstrapped everything, I'm not able to actually build it as fast as I want, bring more developers in and things like that. But yeah, I have the academy, which can take a novice person to an expert. You know, it could take credit repair experts, and they can learn different tactics. And mind you, I got Metro 2 and unlimited Metro 2 in the software. Again, I'm going to say unlimited Metro 2 in the software, consumer law, and I'm also releasing Creditfixrr AI. I was supposed to release it a month ago, and I'm gonna talk. I don't know how much time we got,
bro. We going. We ain't got no bosses.
No doubt. Man, I'm releasing Creditfixrr AI very soon, and when I tell you, like, a lot of people are talking about AI all the time, they don't understand what they're doing. And I can tell you for a fact, because I get people send me other people's softwares all the time. Hey, what do you think about this software? And it's a lot of credit repair, quote unquote, gurus that are trying to create softwares. And they're using AI because it's a buzzword, right? And so they don't realize that there's certain contexts that go, tokens that go into sending these. Let's put it like this. When you send data, it's a certain amount of data that you send that creates a certain amount of tokens. And ChatGPT, you name them, these LLMs, they have a certain capacity. And a lot of times what they don't realize is that when you got thousands of people hitting that same API with that same API key, they're going to shut you down. Right. And number two, it's going to be very expensive. Right. And they don't think about these things because they're not developers. Right. And
I'll tell you another thing that I see, not to cut you off. Then you start to get back inaccurate data.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to hit on that. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like,
that's the number one thing. The data you get back from utilizing AI is inaccurate.
It's going to hallucinate. They're going to make up stuff because you don't know how to properly prompt it. Yeah. And a lot of the quote-unquote developers you hire overseas, they don't understand credit. So, again, like what we talk, it's like it all comes full circle, because it's like you just hire people out of nowhere. You haven't created a culture, right? You haven't grown with them. They don't even understand credit, right? And so they're doing things and creating quote unquote software that's only going to hurt the consumer. Yeah. Right. And so this is why I say that to say this is why I haven't pushed out Creditfixrr AI yet, because I started seeing certain things that happen. I was like, okay, I need more API keys. I need to I can't give all the sauce out on that because I almost said something that's gonna get them the secret of how to do this stuff. But yeah, man, Creditfixrr AI, man, I got another solution, and I talked about this on another podcast where I'm creating something called Creditfixrr Connect, where I can connect consumers directly with lenders, brokers, car dealerships, and the precursor to that is like inside of Creditfixrr Business, I created something called I created an affiliate program for credit repair businesses. So when you use the Creditfixrr Business software, you can partner with lenders, brokers, right? And they can literally send clients to you. They got their own CRM on their end, and y'all just connected.
Right.
Right. And you can pay them and everything.
But they're using your CRM inside.
Everything's going
That's
through
powerful.
Creditfixrr Business,
That's
right?
powerful.
And this is what I was talking about. Like, partnership is something I'm really learning how to do and work on. And I'm trying to help. Everything that I do is always from a servant, like to your point, a servant mindset, man. I think that's where the true value is, being a servant. Like, whenever you a leader, I think you're the biggest. Great leaders are the greatest servants.
Always, man.
Always, man. And I'm probably all over the place, but Creditfixrr just does so much.
Definitely.
And I try to get this vision out, and man, it's hard, man. I'll be honest with you. It's difficult because I literally can create anything with software. I literally can do it. And this is probably why, I ain't gonna say this, but I was gonna say this is probably why I always got fired from jobs. But that ain't the reason why. But I just think that, what I was trying to say, I'm cocky. Like, in our industry.
Talk your talk. And I'm going to tell you why I want you to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why I want you to do that. I remember I was with one of my mentors, and I said, man, no, I'm just trying to stay humble. He said, why? Do you even know what that means? And he had me look up the definition of the word humble.
Wow.
And it is for me to lower who I am to appease the other parties. Nah. See, you can be a great servant, but you still have to have a level of air about yourself.
Yeah.
So no, talk your shit, man.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. I'm gonna talk my shit.
I just said all that so you can talk your shit. That's
because
all.
Like I feel like, and I know a lot of, just like we know a lot of people in this space is not that big.
Right.
But I'm the best software engineer, and I hate to say it like that. Honestly, I don't like using the word best, but I'm one of the most effective software engineers in this entrepreneur credit space. And I might be the only one.
I don't know any personally.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they created software and haven't done it.
99.9999999 of them are white labels.
Facts.
From other places.
1,000%. They're white labels. And I can go down the list, but I'm gonna tell you, man, like, I'm bringing this up because we need to start taking advantage of what we have. Like, we support all these other softwares that's built by other people and make them billion-dollar softwares when you have a gift right in front of you, but you don't want to support it. Why? Because this other software might throw you 10 bands to put it in front of your community, and you think that that's a lot of money.
Bro.
You just made them $100 million company off of $10,000.
Man, you know how many ambassador roles I've turned down? It was a company who was trying to offer me $50,000 to promote their bad product. Bad meaning horrible. And I was like, why would I do that? I said I could do that by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to your point, it's like it's almost kind of like, when somebody is in search of, like, they're on a spiritual journey of life, not knowing that all the answers are within them. That's why one of my favorite movies, and I watch this movie often now, is The Last Dragon.
The Bruce Lee?
Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, it's the black version.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Long time ago.
I need you to go watch it again.
I'm going to check it out.
Let me tell you why I want you to watch it. So in the movie, the premise is, Bruce Leroy is looking for this glow so he can be the best martial artist, to ever walk the planet. And he came up amongst his competition, who was Show Nuff, and they were Show Nuff knew he knew Bruce Leroy was better, but he had to use his fear again, instilling fear in people to try to lead. And so Bruce Leroy was looking for the answer of the superior glow, which is the gold glow, and his mentor was trying to tell him, Leroy, it's inside you already.
Wow.
So a lot of the times we're in search for something, and we go on what I call these dummy missions when everything is inside us already, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all this
on every level.
Every level.
On every level. That's like personally, that's in your group, right? That's in your culture. Like we got everything we need.
Everything, man.
But we look outside of ourselves and we I say this, like we get caught up. I heard Eric Thomas say, don't get caught up by the cheese. Don't get caught by the cheese. Right? Rats get caught by the cheese. Put the cheese down and you get caught. You get caught by that when the person who put the cheese there, they hoping you do it. Knowing that
set traps.
They set traps. So like the bread is the trap. Like when you can really just make the bread. And this is what I'm saying. It's like us as a culture, like this is why when I built the software, I made sure that I built it until it was ready to launch. And then I started hiring a team because I knew I had to, in order to go further, you always got to have a team. And so this is why I was training up developers and creating that culture so that I knew that they would stick with me.
Yeah.
These my guys, man.
100%.
And so, but as it pertains to us in our culture, we don't own nothing.
Bro, don't get me started on that.
It bothers me so much.
Nothing.
We don't own nothing, but we look the part, but we don't control nothing. And this is why I'm standing on business with this software. It's just like, yo, we're the main ones that they leverage. They put our photos on their sites. They smile in front of us, but when it's time to be at the table, no, you can't be at the table.
Bro, you know how many millionaires I've probably created?
A lot.
I stopped counting. But ask me how many of their stages I've been on.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Many?
But I don't let it bother me though. And so going back to what I was saying, everything we're in search of is within inside us. Yeah. Bro, there is nothing that I am not at peace with on my journey to play. Yeah. And so even to like when I'm working with clients, especially one-on-one, my job is not to make you rich. I'm going to teach you to be a better person.
Inform you.
We just gonna make money along the way because that's the byproduct. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so even when I'm working with clients, like we're never just focused on the X's and O's. Yeah. Man, you know how many great athletes are not in the league? Man, because they're not good people.
They not good. Man, listen. Tell you, I'm gonna real quick because I want you to finish.
Bro, go ahead.
My son just started playing basketball. Yeah, and he's 11, and I told my son, I was like, bro, he said, he listens very well. He's coachable. I didn't learn this until I was older. I wasn't as coachable as I thought.
Most people aren't.
I was so skilled. I said, I know a lot of people that didn't make it to the league that I thought would make it to the league. I know a lot of people that can shoot. I know a lot of people that can dunk. I know a lot of people that's fast that's not in the league. I knew people who that I didn't know was that wasn't that good, but they were coachable.
Right.
Like they weren't as skilled when we were at the same age. Right? When we were younger. Yeah. Now they in the league balling. Right? Because they were coachable. Steph Curry, that's a prime example. The boy wasn't that talented. Man,
I remember when his first year in the league when he got drafted, because every summer league they come out here.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a big controversy when they drafted him because Monte Ellis was there.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Steph and I'm like, that's who they got? Because I had never seen him play before. Mm-hmm. But that just goes to show you it goes back to that old saying: if you have 4 hours to chop down a tree, spend 3 hours sharpening your axe.
Yep.
Nobody wants to sharpen their axe because they know how to use the axe.
Yeah. Yep.
So just because you know how to use it don't mean that you're hitting it with a dull axe, though.
Facts.
And when I tell you, no, Kabir, go sharpen your axe.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody. And so this is why I often say the reality, most people don't know what reality that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because because they're already driving the car that they think is their dream car.
Yeah.
So you can't tell them nothing.
Right.
They already live in the neighborhood that they think is affluent.
Right.
So you can't tell them nothing.
You don't know what you
They
don't
done been
know.
to Tulum. You can't tell
Man.
you can't tell them nothing because they've experienced things already.
Yeah.
Even though that ain't even a fraction of what, because they don't have anything here though.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I feel like this podcast has been, although it's about credit, I think it's just always one thing I'm hearing is like just personal development, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the root of everything is just like, okay, are you growing? Are you growing as a person? Are you growing as a dad, a mom?
Right.
We none of us perfect, right? Like, and we coming in everything that we do at different stages.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer is that of your environment shapes you. Like whatever environment you in, it's gonna make you who you are.
1,000%.
Just like you were saying earlier, like you living in Utah, you adapting to some lingo in Utah, but you from Georgia. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if I go to Utah and I'm amongst Mormons all my life,
that's gonna be your
every day,
philosophy.
that's gonna be your philosophy.
Yeah.
You're gonna adapt to that. And so it's just about getting yourself in different rooms. It's about getting yourself in different environments to help you grow, whether that's watching something, whether that's reading books.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, they're like, bro, what changed? I don't read books as much as I do then as I do. I don't read many books now because I'm just taking action. But back then it was books.
Yeah.
I read books and that helped me see more. Right? It expanded my mind. I was like, damn, the same problems I looked at before, I now look at them from a different angle now. And that's the importance of mentorship.
Yeah.
That's important. Like, man, I just believe in people, man. I believe in good people. I believe in grace. I believe in mercy. Like all of us, we want grace.
Yeah.
None of us perfect. We do things that we probably not proud of and we want grace. So I feel like you got to start giving yourself grace and you got to start giving other people grace as well.
Definitely.
And you'll find that it's power in it.
Find you online, how they find you on social media? You might want to get a handle. Sometimes people got to hear it multiple times.
No doubt, man. Y'all can find me at Creditfixrr everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social medias, man. I might even get on Twitch.
Y'all already know we are on the Full-Time CEO podcast. Look, I already told you I bring legends on here. So make sure y'all tap in. More importantly, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all that cool stuff. And y'all already know the drill. I'll see y'all at the top. Let's go. You can't save your way out of poverty. If the bank is going to take your money invested in real estate, how come we not doing that? We got to focus on ownership. We have to own shit. I love investing in real estate. It's the one tangible asset class that has stood the test of time.